I want to talk a little bit about how I created the backing tracks in the sense of what chord progressions that I used to create those modal backing tracks. One way to create a modal progression is to use the 4 and the 5 from the parent major key that the mode comes from, and then you want to use the root of that mode as a pedal. So for example, if we were talking about C Lydian comes from the parent major key of G, so it comes from G major. So you got to ask yourself, what is the 4 and the 5 of G major? Well, it's C and D. Okay, so we just play C and D over C. What about C Ionian? Well, C Ionian is synonymous with the C major scale. So the 4 and the 5 of C major is F and G. So that would be like this. Alright, now what about C Mixodian? So C Mixodian comes from F major. So the 4 and the 5 of F major is B flat and C. So we just put our C in the bass because it's C Mixodian. We need C in the root, and we just toggle between B flat and C. Okay, so for C Dorian comes from the key of B flat major. So the 4 and the 5 of B flat major is E flat and F. So okay. So then let's see, what about C Aeolian? C Aeolian comes from the key of E flat. Alright, and the 4 and the 5 of E flat would be A flat and B flat. So we've got and then what about C Phrygian? C Phrygian comes from A flat, and the 4 and 5 of A flat is D flat and E flat, right? So we just do this. All right, and lastly we have C Locrian. C Locrian comes from D flat, and the 4 and the 5 of D flat is G flat and A flat. So we've got so that's how I created those modal progressions.